Hello, Kyle.
Hello, Mike. How are you?
Good.
Long time no see.
Yeah. So how's Kyle been?
Pretty good. I tried to get to you at noon Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday?
Thursday?
Thursday, and you wasn't there.
Yeah, this Thursday was crazy. There was a lot of things had to move around. We had to go Friday and get a van, and then we decided that we had to do planting on Thursday instead of Friday, so we moved it there. And I kind of totally forgot in my head just doing everything about the meeting.
And the Thursday before, I missed you. You went to lunch.
Yeah, I waited like Lorena was there, and then nobody else showed up, and it was like 1:15, so I assumed nobody else was going to show up. So we went ahead and headed out.
Well, the closest I could come to get in there on Thursday is 1:30
Oh, okay,
because I don't get off of work till 12:30.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm thinking about trying to figure out a different time for that meeting. Doesn't seem like a lot of people show up or anything, so um,
Well, I figured that would have been a good one for your overseas
yeah,
people.
that's why we created it, and people said they would be there, and then they haven't been showing up. So
Where all do you have overseas now?
we got a couple. We got like three that are Germany, Portugal, and I forget where the other one is. Netherlands, maybe
Okay.
Bilgi is in Sweden.
Sweden. Okay, Sweden. And then we got one in Canada that he also said he could only make Thursdays during the day. He couldn't make Tuesday nights. So, but he hasn't been showing up. He hasn't shown up for like 2 months. So,
Hmm. Has anyone reached out to him?
yeah, he's been on school and making comments and all kinds of stuff and everything else. So
Hmm.
he's still active.
Maybe his schedule changed or something. I don't know.
How's Jessica doing?
Fabulous as always. I don't have to water tonight. It's weird.
Why is that?
They don't need it. This new soil retains water really well. And I went to check them out to go water them, and they still have moisture in the middle. So they are
What
not
kind of
thirsty.
soil are you using?
The new one is Sprout Island by the coast of Maine. So it's an organic peat-based mix.
Okay.
And the plants are loving it so far. So
Very much.
Better than Coco Local?
even better than Coco Loco,
I wonder
which
how
is
hard it would be to get.
um I've seen it here and there. We have to get it from, oh, that reminds me. By the way, husband,
Mm-hmm.
um, they have a shipment coming the week of the 8th of August. So we would be able to get it in time. So
Okay.
I saw that email earlier and you were on something, I don't remember, but anyway, yeah, we
That'd
have to
be
get
very
it from
close. It'll be very close.
BFG. So finding it locally, I'm not sure where all to look for it
Hmm.
because I mean, you can buy it on Amazon, of course, but that's not the cheapest option for sure.
No, never is.
Never is for anything. Oh,
Nope,
Not for soil. Not for soil or potty
that's
mixes
too
or anything
heavy.
like that. Yeah.
and how's your chickens doing?
Ornery as ever. They're doing all right, though, as far as I know. Jordan's been taking good care of them for the most part. He tends to forget things like, feed them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they come to the back door and beg for bread.
Is your son graduating this year?
The baby starts college in 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
3
Well,
weeks.
congratulations.
Yeah. Daughter
Soon
leaves
you
for
all
college
be
Monday. Yeah.
soon you all be empty nesters.
No.
no, no, I don't think they're ever going to leave. Especially not the two oldest ones.
Yeah. They are not ready at all.
No. Definitely not ready.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with the oldest yesterday, night before last night. He said, "Yeah, I cannot live alone." Yeah.
Welcome in, Pat.
Hi there. Hello.
How are you?
Hello.
Good. Busy day.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Yeah. Been real hot here. Probably where
Oh.
you get there too.
How hot is it?
Oh, what is it today? I don't know, upper 80s, something like that. The humidity is really high.
Yeah.
Just like,
It's been hot here too. It got to 101.
oh
Oof.
my gosh.
Well, thank you.
I mean, it's only 79 right now.
Yeah, but you all so far up north, it's almost Canada. Oh,
It'll be 104 on Thursday, though.
Yeah.
there?
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Oh, no. That's all the time. In August?
It's August. It's fair season.
Bear season.
Yeah, state fair. Every time the
Oh,
state fair's here.
bear season. I
Yeah.
thought you said bear season.
Oh,
like
bear.
it.
Oh.
No.
Oh no.
No, not bears. No bears.
No, every year when it's time for the state fair, every year, because we're in the capital, so obviously the state fair is over here. So every time it gets sweltering hot. Like it could
Are
be a
you
beautiful summer the whole time. And then as soon as fair season hits, roasting.
are you all going to try to set up at the fair, maybe, and see if you could sell some of your microgreens there?
We did it one year.
Yeah, it was okay. It was long. It's exhausting. Because that was what, 3 days that we did it?
Yeah, 3 days.
And
And you got to be there early to be able to get it in. You have to take health, even if you have a health license, you have to take the health department's class that they have for everybody at the state fair. To break down and leave is a chore. It's long, 3 long. Well, you got to set up the day before, then you got to tear it down. So it's 4 very long days. So, and right now we just don't have the manpower to do that. Have 4 days of being there. So,
yeah. We juggled it that one year and we're like, oh, it'll be fine. I won't be that tired. Like I literally had 3 energy drinks the last day. It was bad. I was like, oh no, that's the 3rd one. I should not be doing this.
and I guess we're going faceless tonight, guys, because my camera is not working. So I don't
I
know.
thought I fixed it.
Yeah, it didn't work.
It didn't work.
So
Oh,
it's all
my
right.
bad.
Welcome in, Bill and R. Cindy. Bill and R. Cindy.
And/or.
We're we're both here this time.
All right. All right.
Hey.
How are you guys?
Good. No camera works at the moment because we're finishing up dinner anyway, so that works.
There you go. Faceless
That
night.
works.
That's good. I got a burger. If anybody wants a burger, I'll ship it over to you.
All right. All right. Yeah.
All
With
right,
microgreens
we'll
on
take
it.
It'd be
Of
great
course.
in 2 days when he gets here.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Hopefully, you got some microgreens on there.
No doubt. It was
I did.
well, yes, I
Nobody else did.
Oh, good job, Cindy.
Busted.
yeah.
It's supposed to cover for him.
I know.
What'd you have on there, Cindy?
Broccoli.
There you go.
Always try to eat broccoli every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
But we had fresh tomatoes from the garden, so
Nice.
that's what Bill had. So
I
you know,
did.
Awesome.
We'll give him some credit for some vegetable, well, fruit.
that's
But
right.
Nothing beats fresh tomato out of the garden, though.
Right?
Hey,
I know.
for my lunch, I had a wonderful
That's
microgreen
true.
salad.
You did.
Nice.
tons of stuff.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll give
There
him
we
credit
go.
for that.
There we
I
go.
get the lunch credit.
Yeah.
That was enough for the day.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
good.
Grow you some pocket tomatoes and put over into your microgreen salad.
There you go. That's a micro. We had lots of tomatoes. I'll as usual, you plant tomatoes and you get a million
Yeah.
of them. So
Yes. Yeah.
Like all
Or
of
you
them.
don't plant them and you get a million of them. We
From
have
the last year.
volunteers every year.
Like that root sprout that come back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're spoon tomatoes, and they just
Don't
Spoon
ever plant
tomatoes,
those. They will haunt you.
Mm. That's funny.
Um, Side note, Ace Hardware will let you order Coast of Maine and be shipped to the store.
That's cool. I've got an Ace Hardware here.
Yeah, it says like free ship to store.
So what? What?
Coast of Maine.
That new stuff there.
that's
you
good to
could-
know.
Have them do that. I don't know what size bag it is. It looks like it's the not small, but smaller than a 2-foot, but it might be pretty comparable price wise.
Huh.
Our southern
Side
states sells the smaller Coast of Maine bag. I think it's like a 1.5 cubic feet for but it's like $23.99 just for the smaller bag.
This one says 16 dry quarts, whatever that means. So I'm not sure what size 16 dry quarts is, but in Oklahoma, just because I threw in an Oklahoma City zip code to see if it was down by Kyle's zone, it's $10.36.
That ain't bad at all.
No, that's
Not
pretty good
bad.
price.
Of course, 16 drag quarts. What would that be?
I have no idea.
4 quarts is a gallon.
I guess.
So you got 4.
We like
4 and
8 trays
16.
worth, so because we do what 2 quarts ish per tray
Yeah,
ish.
ish.
It's a little over $1 something a tray, which is not bad for what you're gonna get out of it.
Yeah.
You should see these things, guys. Whew.
Stuff's growing amazingly in it. Amazing.
A shame you can't show us.
Well, Jets can.
Guess I can go hop on my
She can be going the field cam.
phone. We can do some field cam. Let me hop on there.
Hmm.
Just my camera in the office isn't working. We had the power outage on Sunday, and I forgot about fixing the camera, and apparently we didn't get it set up right. So when the power goes out, I have to reset it to connect to the computer and all that stuff. So kind of forgot about it.
It happens. It
Yep.
happened.
Yep.
We still love you all.
Oh, thanks, Kyle. So, what do we
Except-
want to talk about tonight, guys? Anything microgreens related or anything else? Any questions?
How's your hydroponics coming along for microgreens?
We kind of stopped that for the time being. We're gonna reset and we're gonna get some automatic watering stuff going. I think is the next project. Well, not next project, but getting herbs going, full size herbs. We're gonna start growing them using that system. It won't be hydroponic, but it'd just be they'll be setting in soil in that system in their little cups and just doing automatic watering with them. But we're going to try to get some automatic watering going here shortly when we get time for like peas and sunflowers and stuff like that. So there's Jess. It's Jess. No sound.
Sorry, I had to turn on a light.
Okay.
So here, like step 1, arugula.
Ooh,
These guys came out, they're 2 days out of germ. So this is day 4.
First day out of light, right? Today or yesterday?
Yesterday I pulled I pulled the domes off
Last night.
last night. Yeah. So they're super tall. Stems are really great. Like they're more resilient than I'm used to.
I have tall
then-
envy. Those are much taller than ours right out of them.
Yeah. These came out yesterday.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
then I will
please.
not be watering them today because their soil is still moist, so they do not need any watering.
And then were cabbages or
That was the broccoli kale
the BK mix. Yep.
DK, and then over here is the cabbages. Also,
Do you
Montana
do those
Montana.
mixes yourself?
Yeah, the
Hmm?
BK, like the BK, the broccoli kale, we mix
Yeah.
that together ourselves. Yep.
But germination is amazing.
So
You
is
got
that
And
video on that yet?
No, no
no,
video on
and
it
this
yet.
is broccoli. This was all brought out yesterday.
This is the first week of the full round of using the Coast of Maine. We did the test trials, and then last week was wheatgrass, peas, and sunflowers fully. And this week's the first week of full. The whole farm is Coast of Maine. So
This is brassica blend. Again, the germination is
yeah, germination is just so much
really
better.
nice. And even the micro mix, the spicy salad mix, a lot more
Nice.
full. It still has a little bit of undergrowth, but I mean that's expected with spicy salad mix because the arugula in it. Then I have to go undome my sunflowers already. Here is kale. The kales are going to be huge this week. They're really big. And even the veggie confetti mix is looking great. The color is really good on these.
Yeah, the color is even better on the with the Coast of Maine on all the products. The coloring is great.
And
There's the
then
sunflowers.
there's the sunflowers. And they're already pushing up their dome.
That's cool.
They are huge already.
how many
We-
days are those?
They planted
day-
on Thursday, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 5 days. 5 days.
5 days.
The one to the left there, we did no dome on.
And we've
See
just been
how it
brushing them.
does. And it's
And
doing pretty well.
these guys. But they're already, this is 5 days, and I'm starting to see little pops of true leaf already.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Mm.
harvest them tomorrow.
Yeah,
Wow.
they will be
And,
harvested already tomorrow.
I have a question about the arugula that was pretty tall. Is that because also because of soil?
Yeah, that's partly yes, for sure.
Partially, yes, for sure, because it usually gets pretty tall. You've seen it before, and it gets pretty tall on its like because it's 2 days of weighted germination, 2 days blackout, and it gets pretty decently tall. But those guys got really tall, and then the
Yeah.
peas, they might be a little early too.
We
Wow.
honestly had not grown in the Coast of Maine with the arugula yet at all. Even in our test trials, we didn't do arugula.
No, we didn't
So
test it even.
this is the first time doing it, and so far very, very happy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still struggling with that. But you are doing the 5x5s and they're meshed, right?
Yeah, they're mesh.
Yeah.
So,
And
well, these are 10-20 mesh, but I know we had talked about maybe doing 5x5s for you because you were having airflow issues in the middle.
okay.
Yeah,
So,
these ones are
yes.
these ones are the
Ah.
solid.
So you are growing on the big tray and
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
growing.
You can see the root system underneath.
Wow. I don't know how you do it. Like, why can't I get that?
Well, where are your seeds from?
They're old. They're
Yeah.
at least they're at least a year old. I don't probably True Leaf. I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best seeds we've gotten for arugula for greener harvest.
Okay.
This one really gets me. We've had struggles with the what is it, the American flag leek, which
Yeah.
normally did okay. This latest bag has been awful. Like, look at the germination on these things. And that's the Coco Loco. And then I just pulled these out for the Coast of Maine stuff, and the germination looks 100 times better. So these ones might actually grow decent.
And
But
that's
these
a
guys are
Same seeds, different
same
soils.
seeds, different soil.
where would you
Another.
get where would you get leeks from right now?
True
These
leaf.
ones were from True Leaf, and normally they didn't have a problem. This lot has been nothing but trouble, but I think it was the end of that lot because it's the same lot number as the lot number we bought over a year ago. So
Okay.
they're probably on the tail end of that one and hopefully into a different one by now. Oh, and the beets. These things are
Oh,
nuts.
yes.
So these I normally have to pull out after 5 days. I pulled them out yesterday, so after 4 days, and they're huge already. Like I
And the
just did
germination's
ambient.
great.
Germination's amazing. No seed holes.
Have you
Nice.
tried cilantro?
They're not out yet, but I can let you peek at them. And this
Oh,
is
that
after, what are we
Mm.
on?
Day
5
5.
days? 5 days? We're
that
already
looks
getting
really good.
really good germination on them in 5 days. So those are going to look great by 7, maybe 6 at the rate they're going.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's a winner for sure.
Definitely. So far, loving it.
And it's organic. I've been
Yeah.
searching for a great organic soil for so long. So
Yeah.
finally found it.
Yeah, I know. I tried like at least 3 different ones. I was like thinking that's it. There's not gonna be any organic. I thought the topic was closed. So I'm glad it isn't.
It is not. No.
Yeah. And I missed the first 5 minutes, I think, of a meeting where you guys talking about price. Is it less expensive than Coco?
For what we're
Um,
getting it for,
It's a little bit more expensive, but we found out that Ace Hardware will let you order it in. So if anyone's near like an Ace Hardware store, they'll probably be able to source it. I think that's the biggest challenge is finding a source for it.
Okay.
So wanted to kind of throw out there earlier that there is a possibility of maybe ordering some in, even if they don't carry it normally.
And you think the price from Ace would be less than the one from BFG?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Well, $10 for 16 dry quarts isn't bad.
No, that's not a bad price at all. We're at BFG was what, 18 something?
for the 16 quart one, BFG is 909.
Oh, that's not too far off then.
No. I'm trying to look for the bigger one, but I can't find it.
Let's see. I saw it before in BFG. I actually got some bags that I haven't tried yet because I've been using Coco Loco.
There it is. So we're paying $18.70 a bag for the 2 cubic feet one. And
How many trays will that do, Mike?
just over 20 for the method that we're doing
was
because we're feeling it a little
22.
fuller. So it's
It was 22, I think is what we
20,
mapped it out
yeah,
at.
22. So it's costing us 85 cents a tray, which isn't bad.
Now with the soil filling machine, it does fill it a little bit more than we normally.
Normally I would get like 25 to 28 out of it, but also speed. And honestly, I think filling it a little fuller actually helps also.
It helps with the yield, I think, too.
Yeah.
Also with the way I cut, because they're up a little higher, I get more to them.
Speaking of that, where are you at on your cutting machine?
I am ordering new supplies to make a better prototype because I think I figured out a good prototype set.
Hmm.
So round 7, I think. I don't know. I think I've kind of lost count at this point. But I think I probably could get it figured out with this setup. I like the way it cut this week. I did it for 2 weeks straight, this one. And it holds 2 trays worth in the tray part, which is great. 1 tray of radish because radishes are so friggin' fat. But I can cut 2 trays and then transfer or pack without having to move it off the tray. Yeah. without taking up too much table space. That was my other challenge with it, was trying to find a way to not take up too much table space so it would be a reasonable thing for most people. I'm not going to charge you $1,400 for it.
You what?
Or wait, no, 3,500. What? How much is that thing that I
The
posted earlier?
premium one's 3,500. Yeah.
3,500. So Jonah finally came out with his automatic seeder, and I posted it in the coaching group earlier because I was like in sticker shock at that point. Because he like it's designed to have like a roller plate inside it that spreads the seeds evenly at the right size. So in theory, like all of your broccoli type ones would be the same, but then my radish would need something different and mustards would need something different. It depends on the density and the size of the seed. So like the basic one was $1,500 and it only comes with 5 different rollers, which limits what kind of seeds you can use. At minimum, most people would need at least the medium tier one that's like $24.99, and that's 10 rollers. But we also do amaranth and sorrel and things like that. So we would need the premium one, which is $3,500 because it has 15 rollers. And the only way to get the one that rolls the vermiculite is the premium one.
Huh.
Like the one thing that I really kind of liked it for was running vermiculite. And that is the only one that has a vermiculite is the 15 roller one, which is $3,500. I was like, oh my God.
That don't sound like a very good deal to me.
Yeah.
No.
It's way too much money.
For what it is. And he was like the little pamphlet says you can seed 300 trays an hour. Well, yeah, if you were seeding 300 broccoli trays or 300 of the same thing, but in order to change varieties, you have to dump the seed back out, change the roller, put it back together, put new seed in, and then start again. So it's not like 300 trays and switching out things.
It sounds like he wanted to go for the really big scale growers.
I mean, we don't, we'll put how many trays of broccoli? Like 70, 80-ish, about
78.
80, 78. Yeah. Trays a week of broccoli. And that would be kind of fast, but it's not justifying that price.
You also have to have them all in a line to seed them because you got to roll over the trays.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, to me, it seems like it's a gardening tool shrunk down.
That's what
Yeah.
it is. Oh,
Yeah. It's like something you seed outside, but shrunk down.
Yeah.
So you'd have to have everything in a line to go seed it. So I just don't see that being useful.
Yeah.
And then you have to have the place for all that, no?
What was that?
Like, you then have to have the room in your grow room to store all the machine and
And all the pieces and
Yeah.
more storage.
like the things you're not using, right? And like I was thinking, so because those rollers, they are for the size of the seed, right?
It's for the
Yeah.
size of the seed and the density. So like broccoli is different than mustard.
So if I'm
So-
planting red cabbage or broccoli, and so if I'm planting broccoli, then I have to go wash the roller or
Yeah. Clean out the roll. I'm not sure if it would like stick to the roller at all, or you would at least need to empty out the bin,
Mhm.
change the roller out, make sure there's no seeds left over, and then put the roller back in and put new seeds in for the new variety
Yeah.
to start
Yeah, you would-
again. So
You'd
it's
have
not
to
that
have
fast then.
such a massive operation to do that.
Yeah. It's not at the
I think it
scale
would be
for
very
most
practical
growers.
for a massive production.
Yeah. It's more assembly line style, like being able to roll over the trays too. Like, I wanted to love it. I was like, man, that'd be a fun little tool, like just a quick little, like throw some vermiculite over the top, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But Nope, not for that price.
Yeah. No, the price is impossible. It's a
Yeah.
fortune.
And his justification was the premium one. It comes with like a year of the Vertigrow app with it. I'm like, well, I have Seed Leaf. I don't need your Vertigrow. But he partnered with Vertigrow to do this. So now you're looking at not just his design, it's his design and Vertigrow working with him. So he's paying someone else in there.
What do you
Like
call the value of the item where it takes and falls off? It's not worth as much.
Depreciates?
Like
Depreciate.
depreciation.
I wonder how
Yeah,
fast that machine would depreciate.
right.
You know, within a year's time.
Yeah. How much is it going to be worth? Well, the other
Yeah.
part was um he it's all pre-orders. So like he sent out this email for pre-orders and it doesn't go to on sale till the public until next week. He's expecting the pre-orders to take 5 to 10 weeks to fill, and all of the public sale ones up about at least 3 months is what he said.
Yep, at least 3 months.
At least 3 months to fill the order. So you're buying it and then waiting for 3 months.
It sounds just like greedy.
Well, he's trying not to run any inventory. And I understand, you don't want to have inventory because inventory costs money. But at the same time, that time you're trying to justify these farmers who are putting in a pretty good amount of money that they need to buy it and then wait 3 months.
It's not practical.
No.
I don't think so. I just don't see the use case for it. So, and I think if you get somebody who's new and they buy that, it's going to hinder their cash flow of their business, and then they'll be out of business because they spent money on things they didn't need.
Yeah.
And I want to keep people away from that. I don't want people to go out of business for buying
Yeah.
stupid stuff.
Yeah, and if you're a small grower, and you don't know what you're doing and you get that, and then later on you start growing and you need that space for a rack. Now you can't put an extra rack because you have a space where you're storing all that.
Yep.
So,
Well, what
So
is
you're-
Mike? What would you consider minimum cost for starting brand new out?
You can get away with ideally to get everything perfectly set up, probably somewhere around 1,000, a little bit less, 800 to 1,000. But you could get started probably for 500 if you go and search and get some racks for cheaper, and don't buy them brand new, and maybe buy some trays from somebody who's no longer growing. But you don't want to skimp on the seeds in the soil.
Yeah.
So the minimum is probably 500, but ideally somewhere around 800 to 1,000 to get it set up correctly.
So
Yeah.
that ain't bad there.
No, and if you spend $1,000 to start your microgreen business, that's all you need to spend. Like, and then you turn the profits back in as you're selling it to grow more stuff, to buy more stuff. So legitimately, that's all we spent 700, I think, a little bit over
Yeah,
$700
7.
to start this business. And personal money that wasn't generated by the microgreens, we've never put another dime into it.
Was that also counting your business license?
Yeah, no. And the business
Well, I
license
mean-
started for free.
No, we had to pay $20 to publish
$20.
our stuff.
Yeah, to publish
like
it.
We weren't an LLC until what, last year?
Yeah, last year, like June of last year.
You got your LLC for $20?
No.
No.
We were just doing business as, so you can get that basically for free, and then you just got to publish that you're doing business in the newspaper, and for $20. That's all you have to do. And that's what we ran on until June of last year when we incorporated.
I did my LLC last. I paid $75.
Oh, it's not bad.
Really? That ain't bad at all.
No, that's pretty darn good.
That's
And I-
really good.
Yeah, and I got my tax ID like in less than 10 minutes. Like I did it all
Oh
online.
yeah, the tax ID is so fast for the EIN.
Yeah, I was like, and it wasn't even during business hours. I was doing this in the evening. And I
Well,
got
the
a-
nearest I could find for LLC is $500.
That's having somebody do it for you, probably.
yeah, I
Which
did it.
is good to do because you make sure you got it set up correctly.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing. You pay them for their time and their service, and then they'll have like an authorized representative. So if anyone needs to reach out from the government, like they reach out to them instead of having to try to find you.
Right. Because one of the requirements is having a call number that someone can get a hold of you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they'll reach out to them first, so you don't have to worry about anyone trying to reach out to you or missing a call or missing a contact of some sort. Everything goes through them. So that's nice.
Yeah, but you don't need an LLC to start. Not at all.
I did
But-
my business, as you said, Mike. I also started, I don't remember how much it was, but it was a lot less than $1,000 because I had found a guy, I don't remember if it was New York or somewhere. He sold a whole setup for like $1,200, and I was
Nice.
like, I don't have $1,200. So he sold me the trays, and these were not the 10 by 20. These were some huge trays that you would put one tray per shelf. And then I sourced, and he, no, I take it back. He sold me the lights. That's what he sold me. And then I sourced the trays from the manufacturer, but they were not the 10 by 20s. There were some big trays. And then I sourced what am I missing? The rack from Amazon. And I remember clearly, I was like, $1,200 is a huge amount of money. I don't have that money. So I would have to go back and see how much I spent, but it was a lot less than that. And I got 2 racks actually. And then I just started growing and selling small amounts and turning everything I sold into a new rack, more lights, a table, beans, seeds, having very small amounts of seeds. I mean, I put 1 penny of my own money into the business. It's all kind of self-sustained. So I got a fridge. Yeah, so it's great to be able to do it that way.
Yeah, you can turn your profits back into the business, and then that way your business isn't being paid for anymore by you. It's funding itself. It may not make a lot of money, but it makes enough to be able to continue building.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something,
Yeah, for
something.
sure.
I have a question for you guys about your washer. Can you share with us about your washer? I know it's a big purchase. Could you share the model of what you have? Any special connections with
The dishwasher?
Yeah.
You're not going to find the deal that we got.
Unfortunately, we've been trying to find it. So we are able to get it from a local distributor. And the only requirement is we pay a monthly lease and then we buy their chemicals from them. We've had other people look at Ecolab, which runs a similar program. And for the same dishwasher, how much was it, dear? I don't remember. It was like, what did Beth have it as? Like 300 a month?
Oh, it was upward to 500s for some people
Yeah. For the cost of
per
this.
month. And you have to buy their
Wow.
chemicals, which are more expensive as well.
Yeah.
So I
So how did you
hesitate to tell
use
people about the dishwasher anymore because after finding that out, because we pay $69 a month in the lease, and then we just buy their chemicals, which probably runs us, if you average it out per month, probably around $40. So
Yeah.
we're right around $110 for the dishwasher, but
So it
and it
is,
washes 9 trays at a time. But that's the dishwasher. Yep, Just is showing.
Oh, let me see.
it's a CMA
Energy-
dish machine.
Energy Miser.
Energy miser. So it's supposed to be energy efficient, Energy Star and all that. But
Is that the brand, Energy Miser?
It's just-
CMA is the brand.
Yeah.
That little logo up in the corner. And then they modified the rack to cut off this portion so the trays can go past it because there's more room back there.
Mm-hmm.
And the trays are just a little too long. So they actually cut this off for us so we'd be able to put the trays in fully. And then we can just slide them in and wash them. And it does 9 trays at a time in 90 seconds, which is pretty darn good.
I mean, you still do have to rinse them off, but
Yes, it is not a
scrubber.
dish machine that will scrub things for you. You do have to pre-rinse.
Okay.
But for the most part, it's a low temp sanitizer too. So it doesn't like a lot of dish machines that are commercial like this will be high temperature. And that's how they sanitize. This one actually uses like a bleach-based solution of chlorine-based solution. We have test strips up here to test it. But it's a chlorine-based solution, so it's low temperature, so it doesn't warp the trays.
Uh-huh. So
But-
90 seconds, you get 9 trays, and then you do not have to sanitize them. All you do is kind of scrub off any remnants of vegetation or
Yeah,
dirt.
scrub.
Yep.
Yeah, you rinse and scrub if there's anything really stuck on the trays ahead of time. Then you put them in there. Then it's going to wash, rinse, and sanitize them in 90
Yeah.
seconds.
So we just hit them with the spray nozzle real quick. And then
That's
we need to
core,
use a
right?
scrubber.
What's
This
that?
guy is fantastic.
Karina?
You hit them with that nozzle before, right?
Yes, before.
Yes.
Yep. Getting any of the dirt that's stuck on it or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
Load them up,
do you
put them in there.
do you need your 3 compartment sink anymore?
Not really.
Not
Okay.
for the trays necessarily.
All our other dishes go in there pretty much besides stuff that's a little too big. Like we have some bins that are too big that we use for popcorn and stuff, but that we have to hand wash. But not really. You don't really need the 3 compartment sink with that. But it's
Okay.
good to have. I mean,
Yeah, it's good to have a 3 compartment sink just
and it was
for
already here.
Yeah.
that too.
If you wanted to have a commercial kitchen, could you use that dishwasher to wash dishes?
You
Or-
have to, if you're getting a commercial kitchen, you do have to have a 3 compartment sink because you have to have a way to clean them if the dish machine goes down.
Oh, okay. And could you share the dishwasher with other dishes, or it?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah, all the dishes go in there.
Okay.
So, cleaning knives, forks, stuff that we
Mhm.
use, glasses, any other like cutting boards, stuff like that, all goes in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
knives, things like that.
Right.
And so, how did you get Screaming Deal from the local? The local distributor?
So we've known the guy in charge of their chemical division for, I don't know,
20 years.
20 years. He used to be an Ecolab guy, which is the company that charges way too much. And then he retired, obviously not very well. And now he runs the chemical beverage division of this company, of MJ Kellner, which is a local smaller distributor. And their goal is to get the machines in so that people will buy the chemical. And then at the same time, he used to work for Ecolab and knows that Ecolab likes to dial things in a little high, so you use more chemical. And he does not do that because they're not commissioned on what they sell.
Mm-hmm. So the business is supposedly giving you a low lease, so you spend a lot on the chemicals.
Yeah, that's what Ecolab tries to do. They try to get you to spend even more on chemicals. Unfortunately, they'll calibrate the machine to use the maximum needed, not the minimum needed.
Wow.
Yeah,
And then
You
they
they
want to
look
charge,
stay
bad.
away from Ecolab if you can,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you do.
okay? Because that's what Sam's Club uses.
Yeah, they're a very big company and they've kind of lost touch with small companies.
Yes.
and what's the model of that machine that you have?
Here, let me look. I can actually show you exactly which one it is on Webster.
While she's looking that up, I haven't welcomed in Nancy, and Brett is joined as well, and Carlos. So welcome in,
Hey.
all of you guys, all three of you.
Hello, good evening.
Evening. If you guys got any questions while he's talking, you can just raise your hand if you know how to do that, or you can just unmute and talk, and we'll get to you.
Well, what would that machine cost if you bought the machine outright?
That's what I was just looking up, actually.
That's an excellent question, Kyle.
That's what I'm looking right now. I just Googled CMA washer and then I'm missing the model.
Let's see. I want to make sure it's the right low temp one for you. So um, and the 115 volts, so it's not the high voltage. Because some of them will ask for like 220 and you don't want that necessarily.
Yeah, that was my other question. Like, do you need any special connections?
Nope, standard plug. We love that.
Okay. I have a barn that at some point I would like to remodel or build. I mean, the barn is there, but it's not, it's just dirt right now. So at some
Yeah.
point, I have to put a floor, and this is all dreaming, right? But I'd like to know, like, what
You
are
gotta
the
dream.
Because if we're gonna do the plumbing, I wouldn't want plumbing and later that, oh, we should have done something for such a machine that maybe one day I could have.
All right, I found the link for it. So here's that. And I'm gonna throw it in chat for you.
Okay.
Did you find the price out?
I did. It is $45.69.
So if you got an extra $5,000, you can buy
I mean, it's half as much as a soil filling machine.
it. Yeah.
Would it be possible to buy this used from a restaurant? Like, who else could?
Oh,
yeah.
you can probably find them used equipments. Yeah, yeah. Definitely look up used equipment or restaurant auctions in your area, stuff like that. You can always find good deals with that. I highly recommend. I mean, our walk-in came from a closed-down restaurant. Some of our other stuff that we bought, racks and stuff, restaurants,
But
auctions.
wouldn't most restaurants rent one
Not
of them?
necessarily. But restaurant I was at, we bought the last restaurant I worked at. We bought the dishwasher, and then had him service it. So, you could do it either way. Some restaurants buy it, some don't. Some restaurants close down and they still auction all that stuff off because they've made their lease agreement, and so they own it now. But then they shut down, so then they can just sell it outright when they shut down. So
And what type of restaurant would use a low temperature dishwasher? Like, is it to have low? Is it a rare item?
No, not really. So a lot of restaurants use low temp dishwashers just because if they're using plasticware or if they're using sensitive products, some fine china doesn't like to be heated too much. So they'll use a low temp dishwasher. So they're pretty common to find used because of that.
Doesn't Darcy's use a low temp?
Darcy's uses a low temp. Yeah.
They're the number one restaurant in probably Springfield area, and they use a low temp dishwasher.
Uh-huh. And how risky would it be to buy something like this used?
Be ready to work on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and, you know, it may be great, it may be fine, but you know, you're gonna have to have some knowledge of working on it, or you're gonna have to have a service company come fix it if something goes wrong or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Like with leasing it like this, something goes wrong with it, they come in and fix it. If they can't fix it, they'll get us a new one.
Yeah, yeah. And it's hard to find. I live in a small town. I don't know anyone who repairs regular appliances, let alone something like this.
Anybody
You would
that
have to
would
get
service a
someone at a
restaurant,
restaurant. Yeah.
yeah, would.
Someone, I see. So there's the specialty companies that work with restaurants.
Yes.
Where do you find those people?
We just kind of know them here, but you could just actually go into your local restaurant, especially like ones you work with, and ask them who does their stuff.
Services their machines. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great idea.
We run into our sales guy all the time in different restaurants while we're delivering.
Yeah.
I mean, this takes the most time, I find. If I could on one thing, this would be it.
It definitely speeds up washing dishes for sure, washing the trays and everything. So
yeah.
And when they come,
and you know they're getting cleaned correctly, you know they're getting sanitized correctly, and it's just a nice peace of mind as well.
Yeah,
like tomorrow's project for one dishwasher. He's got what, 6 hours he's going to be working on it.
6 hours, yeah.
Floors. This is tomorrow's dishwashing.
So he'll come in and do all that in probably less than 6 hours, but he scheduled 6 hours.
Wow, I literally had to plant last night, and I didn't plant because all I managed to do was to empty the trays and wash them. And
Yep.
I then it was midnight, and I was like, I need to draw a line somewhere.
You're done at that point.
I'm like, my next day is ruined. Like and I was like, okay, that's my crop is going to be now late by one day. I just couldn't.
You do have to sleep at some point, though.
Yeah, exactly. Imagine the luxury.
Yes.
And does this machine take any special plumbing? You said regular electricity. How about plumbing?
Regular. It's just a 1/2-inch water connection.
Is that normal?
It only needs, 1/2-inch is pretty standard. Like a hand sink would take a 1/2-inch water supply. If you plumb anything, all you would have to do is tell the plumber you need a 1/2-inch water connection, and it's pretty standard. We actually used the water supply from the hand sink. There was an extra set of, I don't even know why there was an extra set of plumbing in the wall. Don't know. It
There
just
was
was
two
an
hand
adapter.
sinks right around the corner of each other, plumbing wise, so it worked out great.
Yeah. And I just used an adapter, and that's all I had to do was switch it over from 3/8 to 1/2, and it was just one little adapter hose.
So 3/8 is the more standard
For a hand sink.
Yeah, for hand sinks is more standard, and you can always put in an adapter for 1/2-inch.
And don't you let me see, gain some pressure that way? Is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
No.
It has its own pressure regulator in it, so
you lose some pressure, right?
Yeah, you would lose some pressure in theory, but it doesn't enough to affect it. We'd actually checked that whenever he installed it to make sure it was fine. It has its own pressure regulator because it has nozzles that jet out with the pressure, so it has had no problems with water pressure.
Okay. It looks like a pretty big machine too. I mean, this is no small piece of equipment.
It's a hefty piece of equipment. It took the two guys to come in. I mean, Doc is like 70 years old though, so he does not need to be carrying anything.
Wow. Well, I hope to have this someday. Every time
definitely a good goal.
We didn't have it for 3 years, so.
Yeah.
You already had it? You've had it for 3 years?
No, we didn't have it for 3 years.
We've
just had it for like the past year now, so Not even.
Not even.
And
Yeah.
you notice a big amount of savings, right, in time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And especially since we pay somebody to do it, like definitely saves money. It's well worth the $100 a month.
Yeah.
You can get your box truck.
We got our van.
Oh, I can go out and look at the van for you.
Yeah, we got it. We bought a new van.
Well, used new.
Used new. It looks new. Everybody thinks it's new, but it's a 2019 Sprinter, Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. It's got 176 inches of cargo space. It can hold 3+ pallets in it, and it's got the air conditioner unit on it. So it works. First deliveries were today in it. I forgot, Nancy. I remembered you about halfway through. You asked me to take pictures of it, and I forgot. So I will do that tomorrow on the deliveries.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh no!" I was like, "What?" I
No
was
And we
going to
get-
take a picture.
And we got a nice plate thing to put between the dock and the van, which it's basically the same level as our dock. But obviously there's no plate there to load. So we got a plate thing that we bought for $200, and we can load a pallet straight onto it without having to do it by hand. So it's going to work really, really nice to put pallets on.
What are you putting pallets on it for?
We deliver to the one distributor. We deliver 30 cases to them.
Oh,
30
heck no.
cases of 30 each in it, so 900 products, 900 packages to them. So
Would that be the food bank?
that is the food bank one. Yeah.
All
There's the
right.
van.
There's the van.
Wow, that's pretty big.
Yeah,
She's
it's-
huge. Yeah, it's a monster. It's super tall.
Jess can stand up in the back.
I can stand in the back.
Really?
Yeah.
How tall are you, Jess?
I'm 5'4"-ish.
If there
almost
wasn't for all the
5'5".
insulation and stuff in there, I'd be able to stand up in it. But with the insulation on the floor and the top, I hit my head. You're frozen, Jess, if you're in there. So we have a frozen Jess. But you can see the space in there, and it's got the little hooks on it, so you can strap stuff down if you need to and everything. So
Let me climb back out.
yeah, you were frozen.
Oh,
The whole
so
time
it's
you were
like
in there, you were frozen.
a box of no service. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, you were frozen.
So that's what it looks like. Hopefully you can see that.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, you sold a box truck, didn't you, recently?
We were leasing, flex leasing that. So we gave that back on Friday, and went and picked this up on Friday.
Oh,
So yeah, it's really tall.
Wow. That
Yeah.
is enormous.
Literally, when you're going down the
Yeah.
road, like we're almost the same height as like a 18-wheeler. It's very
Wow.
close. We're just a little bit shorter
Oh, it's locked. It's funny. I can get in the back, but I can't get in the side.
in the
The
front.
heck? Yeah.
And this is a truck you got through a grant, right?
No,
No, we ended up not getting the grant, so
No.
we just had to bite the bullet. But
Uh,
it's tall. It's 4-wheel drive,
Unfortunately.
so
Yep, automatic 4-wheel drive.
automatic 4-wheel drive. Hopefully, at some point, I'll get a grant and maybe I'll be able to pay it off.
Yeah.
very nice. Very, very nice.
what is it, about 40,000?
More.
More.
I talked to our Mercedes-Benz dealership here when we were looking at getting the grant. And to get a new Sprinter and to work with Thermo King to get it retrofitted, total cost was going to be almost 100,000, over 100,000. It was
Ouch.
insane, like way too much. I was like, yeah, that's not an option, guys. All right. Y'all got me running around today. Getting my exercise in.
I had one last question about the dishwasher. When the trays come out, are they dry or you also have to stack them out to dry?
They're still wet, so they're relatively warm, but they're still wet. So we just put them on the drying rack for a couple minutes to just kind of drip dry for a while. The way we stack our trays, though, they dry pretty well anyway. There's no need to do like that crazy stacking that you'll see Andy's people doing. That looks
Mhm.
like absolute chaos to us. But here, let's see. So when we put trays on the rack,
Okay.
we put them this way anyway, so they're always going to drain anyway.
Ah, so you store them that way.
Yep.
Yeah, this is how we store ours so that we don't have to worry about any water. One of the things that a health department hates is the term wet nesting whenever they're like wet inside each other. It's
Yeah.
called wet nesting. And that's something that a health department would look at, although we don't fall under health department, but still restaurant habits. So putting them on their
Well, it's
sides and
better
we have
that
them
way
spaced.
anyway.
Yeah, they're perfect for like the spacing. You can always put, it's almost the same spacing. Is it the same spacing as the racks themselves? Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. They're about
Didn't believe me.
12
Did you see that? She had a count still.
I did. It's like 11 inches apart. So you have room to kind of work them in between, but then also kind of count pretty easily whenever you're trying to figure out how many you need of everything.
Yeah,
Cool.
that's really neat. It didn't occur to me at all to do that. I stack them flat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Then you have to wait for them to be completely
That's-
dry before you can stack them.
yeah,
With this, you
yeah,
can still have some moisture.
yeah, I kind of put them like in a crisscross pattern, and where I live is so dry, so I let them be and they totally dry. And once there isn't a single drop, then I grab them and I stack them and put them in my grow room. But I like you're saving a step. You're avoiding a step, which that means saving time.
Yes.
That's great.
I'm surprised that
That's
they
neat how
dry
you
when they're
stack those.
What was that?
I said that's neat how you stack those.
Yeah, that was a thing of necessity, I think. One day Mike was out of space and we decided to start doing that.
Now, in our bakery at Sam's, we have a dishwasher too, like what you're talking about. Except it's not small. It is a room that you take a rack, like what you got there, and roll it in with the trays, and it hits it with lye.
Yeah, so it's a conveyor style. So it
No,
pulls it in one and out the other.
no. You take and you roll it in by hand, close the door. After it gets done, you open the door and pull the rack back out.
They have one of the big, huge dishwasher.
Oh, that
Yeah.
thing's a monster. Yeah, those things are
Yes.
huge. We've worked with conveyor ones in the past, and that was very tempting, but I would had to have replaced my 3-compartment sink that came with the place, and I didn't like the idea of spending money. So this one works just fine, but they do make conveyor ones where you like kind of feed it in one end and then it comes back out the other end. And those are nice and they're a little bit quicker, but they do use more chemical and more water because they're constantly running.
There was somebody else that chimed up at the same time. I don't know who it was, but
Yeah, it was me. I was just surprised that they would stack like that they would actually dry. Like you said, the wet nesting, but it drains enough.
we do temporarily put them on a drying rack, just enough to be able to we'll do like set of like 30, another set of 30, then you go back to the other set of 30, put them together, put them on that rack then.
I got you.
So we do stand them
Just
up
for
for
a
a
couple
moment,
minutes,
separated
yeah.
for a few moments, just to let that big amount of water drain off.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen our drying rack that used to be our lettuce drying, and when we used to do lettuce outdoors, and we had to wash it and bring it in and do all
Yeah.
that stuff. But now we just use it to do the racks.
Yeah.
Back to work, Jess. Get in there.
Back to work. I'm going. I'm going. All right. So it's covered in dishes right now because things were drying and the kids left. So that's currently what's drying on it. And it's just
Cool.
mesh as a floor. It was a folding table that died. And so I framed it and I put this was the whole purpose of the boards around it was because it was supposed to be for lettuce. And when we framed it, we added hardware cloth, the stainless hardware
Okay.
cloth. So that the whole base of it is just hardware cloth. You can still see the original frame underneath it. And
The
then
health
that way
department
everything will
doesn't
drip
have
dry.
anything to say about the hardware cloth?
Nope, it's a stainless hardware cloth.
Okay.
So it's no rust. So she loved it. She was worried about the wood, but because the wood is not a food contact surface, it's perfectly fine, she said so. But yeah, everything's just kind of sitting in there right now. And that's kind of how, like, the way these are, we'll just set them up like this in layers. And then they'll drip dry for a little bit and then stack them together and put them on the shelf.
You can put the domes in the dishwasher as well?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh my, how nice.
Yeah. Low temp dishwasher doesn't melt the domes.
Wow. Since I'm still with the sink, could you please share with me the sanitizing solution?
Yes. So trying to think of what, because you had asked that, what the percentage is for. Do you remember offhand what our percentage was for using the sanitizer in the sink? Never mind.
No.
I'll look it up.
Okay.
We had it written down when we were in the garage. It was like on the wall. It's probably still on the wall in the garage.
And you use it as zero toss for that, correct?
Yeah.
For the sanitizer.
Yes.
But you don't use it in your dishwasher, correct?
No, not in this machine. It's got a low temp sandy rinse. It's a chlorine based.
So is there any residue from the chlorine?
No. No, it's got so it goes through a three stage to it. So it's got a detergent, then it's got the sanitizer, and then it actually has a rinse aid that helps rinse off anything, a food safe rinse.
Okay.
And then it drips, and then it does like one more rinse round. So it's kind of 3 stages inside the machine.
Hmm.
Let's see.
So have you got your freeze dryer yet?
No.
We bought a van, Kyle. We didn't have money for a freeze dryer.
So true.
So that's definitely on the back burner right now.
Yeah. Oh,
We'll have to
yeah.
wait to build up money again. Unless somebody wants to donate one to me, and I'll.
I mean, I'll take donations. Oh. It is 0.64 fluid ounces per gallon.
Oh, can you say that again?
0.64 fluid ounces per gallon. It's 1 to 200 ratio.
1 to 200 ratio.
Yeah. I think
Fluid
that
ounce.
was, and I'll post that in there for you
Okay,
in your comments to kind of make sure it's there for you.
okay.
Now that isn't the strongest zero tall you can get.
No, Xerotal 2.0 is way stronger. It's more expensive, but it's also very caustic. So I don't like to use it too much.
Hmm.
That one, like, HC is bad enough. Like, if you get a whiff of that, it can kind of burn your eyes. 2.0 is like way stronger. So I feel like, well, we can't even buy it in Illinois. So there's that. We're not allowed to have it. They don't ship it here.
Hmm.
There's quite a few states that considered it too dangerous to ship.
I can understand that.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, but Like you can't even get it here.
I called the other day a company for containers that are plant-based.
Mhm.
And very funny that some of the plant-based containers that they sell are not allowed to be shipped to Colorado.
So they're not very safe.
I was like, well, no, apparently they don't meet some sustainability regulation or something like that. I was like, how ridiculous is that?
That's craziness.
Yeah, I was like, this is ridiculous. If I want to be that's plant-based, why would anyone put any block on it?
Yeah.
So bizarre.
Yeah. Your typing is so loud on that
Sorry.
computer.
I should
It
mute
is.
myself when I do that. I'm sorry.
I was like, what is that noise?
I'm
Oh,
talking to
never mind.
somebody on here through private chat, so sorry.
Chatty chat chat.
Isn't Jim, is it?
No, Jim. Not yet.
I had a question.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone told me that you could make your own disinfectant called hypochlorous acid. It's supposed to be very inexpensive and an effective cleaner. Have you heard of that before?
So what you're thinking of is basically just vinegar and hydrogen peroxide, because that is exactly what xylitol is.
Yes, but you can make it yourself. They sell like inexpensive machines to produce it.
Mhm. It is an option. You do have to kind of regulate it a little bit more carefully because it is peracetic acid. So you have to be careful with what you're putting into it. You would buy like 35% food grade peroxide. It would be like the 35% is what you would use. And then you would use a higher concentration. I don't remember what concentration it required for the vinegar, which isn't as easily accessible. It's not like the vinegar that you would buy in a jug at the grocery store.
So it's kind of a hassle. You might as well just
Yeah,
buy
it's
xylitol.
kind of a pain in the butt. Large manufacturing companies, larger companies will do it just because at that point they're, at a scale that it makes sense for them. But for most of us, it's just easier to buy a jug of peracetic acid and dilute it down.
Okay,
And
thank
you're
you.
not storing it as well.
And how long will a jug of xylitol that you use last?
6 months at least. Yeah, you don't use a lot of it at any given time. So that's kind of one of the other advantages. It's so concentrated that so if you use it as a sanitizer, like in our hydroponic system, I would put like 2 teaspoons for every 50 gallons to prevent algae buildup. So it's not much. And I think a gallon is what, $40, somewhere around that range. So it lasts a long time. We've only bought xylitol a few times in the last 4 years, really.
Did you buy it through Amazon?
Yeah. There was a grow shop here locally that would carry it occasionally when they remembered to order it, but they also marked it up to like $80 a gallon. So
Yeah.
like y'all are
Does it
funny.
does it have to be stored in a bottle that is not translucent or that light will not go through?
So it comes in a white jug, a non-translucent jug, and we just store it somewhere cool and dry. It doesn't have to be refrigerated or anything. You just cool and dry and sealed. Whenever you make a mix, I don't try to make too much of a mix because within about a week it starts losing its strength to it. So they suggest doing a new mix every time. It's about a week before it starts really kind of not being as effective. So at most I mix up is like a quart, but really usually it's like I'll fill up the jug maybe halfway if I'm doing any kind of treatment.
And if there's mold on a tray and you want to spray a small amount, do you use the same diluted solution, the 1 to 200?
No, that is 1 to 150. I know that one offhand.
1 to 150. Okay, for to spray a tray.
Yeah, to spray a tray. And that's the spot spray. You don't really want to spray all the foliar on it, just to kind of, there's no need to. So I just spray the area and a little bit further around it.
Mm-hmm. So, but you have to dilute it, right, to get that one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now I have another question. What are your thoughts about zero hydrogen peroxide alone, like a 30% concentration, and organic certification? Do you think this would be a problem?
So you would have to get a peroxide that is organic certified, and they do
Okay.
sell those. It needs to be food grade. You have to watch out to make sure it's a food grade peroxide. And then peroxide by itself degrades quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to kind of keep an eye on that. So I'm not sure what their lifespan is on a peroxide jug that's been opened, because once it's been opened, it starts to deteriorate pretty quickly. The peracetic
Or
acid
if
actually
you get
deteriorates a little less
sunlight.
quickly. Yeah, no sunlight for sure. And then
So
it doesn't have stabilizers in it because it's food grade. There's no stabilizers in it. So it's not going to last as long as like the drugstore peroxide would, which you can't use
So
because
your
it's not food grade.
xylitol wouldn't be organic, would it?
It is organic.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
but you would have to find, so did you say, Jess, that the peracetic acid helps make the hydrogen peroxide more stable?
Yeah, it does stabilize it a bit longer. So
Okay,
xylitol jug will last longer than a 35% peroxide food grade.
okay. The first one, I actually never got xylitol. I had only purchased hydrogen peroxide, and it's a version that is used in a medical setting. So, like when someone has a surgery, they would put this directly inside, to kind of prevent
Infection.
infections. So I wonder if that medical grade would be considered organic, or if it has to have like the organic certification.
That one I don't know if it would be considered organic because it would be on the medical side.
Okay, so food grade is what I would have to buy.
Yeah.
It's all the same. I don't know what's a big deal. All these are chemicals. It's a little confusing. Oh, it's 3%, not 30%. I said it wrong.
3%. Yeah, that's the less dilution.
Yeah. So 3%, but the xylitol, 27% is what I found online. How could that be? So it's a lot stronger.
Yes, but with the xylitol, you would dilute it.
I see.
So
Okay.
you're not using
Yeah.
straight xylitol on anything.
Yeah.
No, that would burn everything up.
Yes. And also could be hazardous to health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this would be something to research. I'm seeing in Amazon here, food grade hydrogen peroxide, and then it says on the top organic with a green leaf, but that's not the typical organic,
It's not like a certified organic.
yeah, I mean, it says organic with a green leaf, like, yeah, it's made out of, I don't know what's the origin of it, but that's an important, I wouldn't want to apply for the certification and then have this, like, this is something we need to have to
Now,
solve.
just a word of warning to whoever's listening. Just because it says it's food grade, you need to have it diluted, and not just xylitol, but food grade hydrogen peroxide to the proper levels. Otherwise, it could be detrimental to human health.
Yeah, because food grade also comes in a 35%, which is way
Yes.
too strong.
It can actually kill a person.
Yeah. So definitely follow dilution rates on the jugs for sure. The label is the law. That's one thing you will hear the USDA say all the time. The label is the law.
Mhm. Yeah, there's all kinds. If you look in Amazon, there's all kinds of options, 3%, 12%.
Well,
A lot
now,
of,
if it's not food grade, it's stabilized with stuff that is not meant to be in the human body.
Consumed, yeah. It can be on like a wound on the outside, but not necessarily consumed into the body.
Correct.
Yeah, so like the drugstore peroxide usually has some sort of stabilizers in it. So you can't like, you're not supposed to use that even as a mouth rinse, but people do it all the time.
yeah, it's interesting. There's one here that they're selling for the pool, like a swimming pool.
Yeah, definitely not that.
That's just like the seeds that we buy. They're certified as either sprouting seeds or uh, microgreen seeds. But there's people out there that grow microgreens from bird seed. Well, I'm not
That's,
wanting no
oh,
bird seed microgreens.
yeah, that's a good way to get someone sick. So we definitely do not want that. Yeah, things should be tested for human consumption or treated as food. A lot of times, like the bird seed is like the seconds or things that have been on the ground or not cared
Right.
for properly. The chain of command on that one is not as clean.
It's really interesting. If you look in Amazon, there is hydrogen peroxide at 12%. That is for swimming pool and spa chlorine oxidizer, 4 gallons. And then there's other hydrogen peroxide that is also 12%, that is food grade. So
Yeah, you would need food grade.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that the level of dilution, that the instructions in the bottle are completely different. Because I couldn't believe that what would kill things in a pool is anything that you could consume.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely watch what varieties you get. And I mean, food grade peroxide alone works. And watch your dilution rates because you're going to have 12%, 35%, 3%. There's all sorts of dilution rates. And what you'll run into is it looks like a good deal, but it's only a 3% peroxide. So you're not diluting it as much. So it doesn't last as long versus like a 35% where you would be able to add more water to it to dilute it down and it would last longer. That's why we just use the xeritol, just because a gallon of it lasts so long.
So, and the xeritol compared to the hydrogen peroxide that is just hydrogen peroxide, totally is because very acetic acid, it's more stable. Is that the advantage, or is there something else?
It is more stable, and also peracetic acid is also an algicide as well. So it's a little bit more broad spectrum in use. It's an algicide, it's a fungicide. So you're looking at the option to treat more problems at the same time.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And then just the stability and the fact that it's already a consistent, it's always going to be the same dilution rate.
Okay. And then once you prepare that sanitizing bath and you clean your trays, you put now the trays that are clean and rinsed, and you put them in the bath. You use that bath the next day. You have, is it like a daily thing you had to prepare, or can it last, as you said, the zero
Ideally, you
tonic?
would use it just one time,
Okay.
because once it's, it's exposed to air, especially inside a sink or in a tub, it's exposed to a lot more air where it would degrade a lot more quickly than like in a spray bottle. A spray bottle can last a little longer because it is kind of a sealed container. But in like a tub or a bath like that, you would probably want to just kind of do it weekly and do them all at the same time so that you're able to just use one round of it.
Yeah. And of course, if I have a septic system, if I do this in the sink, I'm gonna kill everything in the septic system, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that would
Mm.
definitely kill any beneficial bacteria in your septic.
Okay.
Because if you put beneficials in your septic system, yeah, you would probably not want to do that.
Yep.
Would be a very clean septic system in a bad way.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So what other questions do we got today? We've gone over some good soil stuff. Then what's everybody growing that's new?
Or any other questions?
I'm still growing.
Anything.
I'm still working on the arugula. I
You'll
have
be,
actually. Go ahead.
so you'll be a master of it soon.
I hope so. I'm still struggling with the cilantro. I mean, I'm doing so much better, but my last batch did not germinate as well.
Hmm.
And I don't know if I watered it too much or what happened. I don't know. So I'm
Sounds
just
like arugula.
for cilantro, I plant quite a bit more than I need so that I make sure that I have enough for the restaurants I have to deliver. But yeah, it's certainly a process to get to a point where you do something well consistently. I guess my question that I had was, I saw that Nancy had purchased a new sink.
Mhm.
And since the washer is not happening sometime soon, dishwasher, I'm curious about sink. So if you buy a sink like that, you don't have to attach it to the wall, right? That thing is like a standalone thing.
So typically it's going to be attached to the wall, but not, it's got like a bracket on the wall that it hooks onto to hold
Okay.
it still. And then you would silicone it against the wall because you don't want any water and debris kind of in the crack. So you would do a
Okay.
silicone bead along the edge of it. But it's not like a permanent fixture necessarily. You could move it if you needed to. But they usually like hook on like on a kind of a brace on the wall to
Okay.
keep them stable and level. And then you just run a silicone bead along the back side of it or on the side if you need to. It keeps all the debris and any kind of funky stuff from growing in the crack.
Okay. And as far as the piping piece of it, right now I have two faucets. One's cold, one's cold, and one is hot. And each one of those, I have a split. So the water that comes to the faucet, part of it goes to the washer, like a washer to wash my clothes. And then the other part goes to a pipe. I don't know what I think it's called that extender. It's made of metal and it's like 2 yards long, maybe. And then that connects to another piece that kind of joins. So I have an extender that comes from the hot faucet, an extender that comes from the faucet, then they connect through a connector, and then that connector connects to the hose. so that way my water is not too cold.
Yeah.
So how would I do that with a 3 compartment sink? I was imagining that I would put the connectors connected to the sink, so there's a cold faucet and a hot faucet in the sink, correct?
Yeah. So you could, I mean, I know like when we hooked up our 3 compartment sink, we just split off from underneath a hand sink that was in the bathroom
Uh-huh.
and went through the wall because, you know, why not drill a hole in the wall? We did PEX piping with ours just because, you know, it's an easier a material to work with. You don't have to do any welding or soldering or anything like that. So if you guys are ever working with trying to move piping around, PEX is a really great option because it's easy to work with. For like here, you can see my crazy contraption over here. If you can hear me over my fans. Let me, I'm gonna do, you're gonna love this one. Huh. So we had a dishwasher or a washing machine hooked up in the wall here.
Uh-huh.
So I use post connection and I have 4 options.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is the tube for the dehumidifier. So it drains down the same hole as the washing machine. So our washer and dryer is hooked up here. My hose system is hooked up here, and I still have 2 more options to work with here. They all have independent turn-offs and everything like that. So it's not graceful, but you know what? It works beautifully.
That looks really fun. So you do have like a hot and a cold that go to the sink, and then how do you feed the hose?
So the hose for that one, that's actually just for the washing machine hookups. So that is just the washing machine hookups, like in the wall where you would normally just hook up the 2 hoses to the washing machine.
Yeah,
That's these right here.
that's a washing machine.
This is the washing machine hookups. And below that, I have 2 more. These are 4 wide manifolds. These
Yeah.
are actually in the garden supply area. It's
Yep.
the same threading as a garden hose. So we have 4 options. So I have the 2 bottom ones are my hose for my watering my plants. And I can adjust the hot and cold because these are adjustable. So I turn off the hot in the summertime, but in the wintertime, I've turned the hot on just a little bit to keep it from being too cold. And then I've got my dishwasher, my washing machine on high, they're both open. And then I have these 2 that are closed right now,
So I guess I don't understand. So you're feeding the dishwasher from there? And
no, not
No.
the dishwasher, the clothing washer, the washer
clothing-
and dryer.
Okay. So you have 2 pipes on each. One goes to the washer to wash clothes, and the other
Mhm.
one goes to the dishwasher. Is that
No.
right?
No, not
No.
the dishwasher. The
Dishwasher's
in
in a
different
separate
room.
area.
So one goes to the washer to wash your clothes, and the other one goes to your sink.
Yes. Well, no, it goes to the hose for watering plants.
And then the sink.
So you could
have it
do a
separate.
sink, the same setup. You could do a sink like that as well. You could do a manifold to separate off to a sink. You have more options from there. So you can easily split hot and cold options as splits, or even under the sink you could even too.
So
And
what
if you're gonna go the manifolds, make sure you use brass and not
Yes.
plastic.
Never a plastic manifold.
I don't know what a manifold is. Let's see if I can.
The little splitty dude.
Or a 4-way split, or a 3-way split, or a 2-way
okay.
split.
Okay, I call it a split or a splitter. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying, you were showing me that has 4. So I could do, say, 3, or put one that's 4 and use 3. And then one would go to the washer, one would go to the sink, and one would go to the hose.
Yeah.
And is it, how about if I just get those 2 and one to the washer, one to the sink? Is there a way to get the hose come out of the sink, or is that too complicated?
I mean, we used to do the hose from the sink, but we hooked it up underneath and that was like tapping into the line directly. I wouldn't suggest that for most people.
Okay.
And then they do make like quick connects off of the hose, like off the sink, like you would use the faucet and then it would connect to the faucet. Um, but that like you lose a lot of water pressure doing that. So it's an option. You could talk to a plumber and see which one they would suggest.
Okay.
But I'm more of a work with what I got kind of person. So
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I'm just trying to understand because I've never done any plumbing of any sort. So, at all, like literally nothing. So,
yeah, we've learned over the last 4 years how to do some fun stuff. Lots of Google and YouTube. Yes.
okay. Manifold.
Yeah.
That's the correct. I've learned the correct word now.
Yes. It's a fun one. And yeah, the bright side, like with using like connections that are the same threading as a garden hose is nice because then you can use like much more accessible equipment versus trying to find specialty plumbing supplies.
Mm.
Right. Yeah, I went to Ace Hardware and I just said, "This is what I have." I showed a photo of what I had in against the wall, and I said, "I need to connect this." And somebody walked over with me, and we got this little thing, and didn't even know what it was called.
Yeah. Oh, Ace Hardware is awesome like that because they'll just kind of help you out with it. It's
Yeah.
kind of nice.
Yeah, they were super helpful.
Yeah. And I know Brett, how are your trays coming along? You did your first trays, what, 3 weeks ago?
They were good. Harvested them. We ate them.
Best way to start.
Yeah, and I'm going to visit my son in college this weekend, and then I'm starting my next round. So I'm really,
Yay.
yeah, I'll be doing more trays this time, and yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you so much for asking.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was like, I don't think I saw a follow-up on that. So
Yeah,
I
it's just the
definitely wanted to
beginning
kind
for
of,
me, but yeah, I'm listening to all of you talk about commercial equipment, and I'm just dreaming about that day. So
yeah, it's a faster process than you would think. We're only what, 4 years?
4+ now.
A little over 4, yeah. Yeah, 4+ now, but
well, that's a good inspiration for me. So excellent.
definitely goes quick, that's for sure. Love it. And Carlos is probably working right now because Carlos is always working.
Have you started using microgreens to season your popcorn?
We have not because we don't have the freeze dryer yet. And dehydrating them is just a very long task that I just don't have the energy for.
And the qualities, I mean, they take about the same time on it, but it's just they don't hold on as much nutrients.
Mm.
Babe, Carlos is working.
Yep.
See him in the chat. We won't tell your work that you're texting and driving. Oh. All right. Let's see.
I have a question if no one else has one.
Shoot, go for it.
I know every county, probably every state is different, but what are the most common and frequent elements that are required in a commercial kitchen?
So commercial kitchen, you're looking at 3-compartment sink and hand sink, because you need to have a way to wash the dishes and utensils, and your 3-compartment sink has to be large enough to fully submerge the largest piece of equipment that you're washing.
Okay.
That's an interesting way of putting it, but that's the way they do it. So if you're only working with small pots and pans, you can have a smaller sink, I guess.
Okay.
I know that the surfaces all have to be cleanable. You have to have a separate place to wash hands. Your water supply has to be either tested or like either municipal or regularly tested. I know that. So if you're on well, they just have to make sure you have water quality reports. Trying to think. It's mostly just focused on being able to clean and keeping things clean.
Okay. The
Don't you
hand
have to
sink,
have special stoves too?
So like the stoves and stuff like that, I mean, it depends on what kind of kitchen you're trying to run. Like my kitchen is certified as a kitchen, but there's no stove in there for popcorn. Like we have a certified kitchen technically for our popcorn, and it's literally just that dish room you looked at. Oh, the
Okay.
ceiling has to be cleanable.
Yep.
The ceiling
Oh.
tiles was one of our sticks here because I wanted to put the popcorn in what is now Mike's office.
Yeah. Stay
But
in my office.
yeah, stay out of my office. I tried to take over his office, but the ceiling tiles for the drop ceiling aren't cleanable in there. So I'd have to like put new drop ceiling in, and I don't want to do that. So we just moved the popcorn machine into the dish room, and they were happy with that.
what happens if the ceiling is like high? How to actually clean them?
I mean, people's kitchens get certified all the time. I mean, I think it's mostly because like drop ceilings, like here in like the office and stuff like that, it's like that popcorny texture
Mm-hmm.
that dust could fall from. So as long as you can wipe it as a surface, as like a cleanable surface, I think they'd be fine with it.
Okay.
That's always something you can ask them and say, hey, this is my ceiling. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Or
Yeah,
if they're
then,
even that strict.
and the hand sink, of course, has to have hot and cold water, right?
Hot and cold water. Yeah, you have to be able to wash it, what, 110? 110 degrees, I think, is what the requirement is in most of them. I know that's like serve safe is 110.
I didn't understand that they require
So you
have
have
a
to get
certain-
it at least to 110 degrees
Ah,
temperature. Like you can't just be like lukewarm water. It has to make it to be actually warm
okay.
for hand washing.
And the hand washing part has to be like in the same room, like it couldn't be like a restroom to wash your hands.
No, you
That
can't clean dishes in the restroom.
Yeah, so you have to, so like the hand washing station, I think the only county that I've ever run into was Peoria County, and they told me it had to be within 15 feet of where you're preparing food.
15
And I
feet.
think
that's
Sangamon
pretty-
told me 15 steps, which is bigger than feet, but whatever. Yeah, but it just kind of depends on what your county wants. And that's the challenge with so many of like different cities, even, I mean, same state, different counties is the different. So it's a challenge.
So the idea is that you are washing your hands as you're cooking, of course, but you're washing your hands not in the 3-compartment sink.
Correct.
So you're about to cut some vegetables. You have to wash your hands in the hand washing sink, and you cut the vegetables. Yeah, that's really interesting. So you cannot. I wonder why. Because
Because if you're washing dishes
Cross-contamination.
at the same time, you would cross-contaminate. So if you're washing raw chicken off of your hands into the 3-compartment sink, you could
yeah.
be making that sink dirty. So it's just keeping things
Okay.
separate to be able to be clean.
Okay, so a 3-compartment sink, one hand washing sink that has water that's 110 or higher. The 3-compartment sink has to be large enough to submerge everything that you're using that you need to wash. And the surfaces have to be cleanable, including the ceiling.
Yeah, any surface. The ceiling needs to be cleanable. I think they'll nitpick, like if there's any screw holes or nail holes in the walls, anything where debris could come through. I had to close up a hole in the ceiling that was there from a pipe before. I had to clean that up, close that up because debris could fall through that. Like, it's just basically focused on keeping things clean and making things easy to clean. Which
Okay.
makes sense for any commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then depending on what you're making, you might have to have your serve safe or a food safe food manager certification.
Okay. The water, I did some research on to see what could be tested. So locally, there is a company that does water testing, and then I kind of went through the small font and read what they were testing, and the only bacteria that they test is E. coli, which
That's
makes
the number
sense that-
one, yeah.
Mhm. It makes sense that they test that, but I was surprised that they didn't test any other bacteria. Is that standard or?
That's kind of surprising if that's the only thing they're testing for. That might just because they usually testing maybe for like agriculture. So like when we did our GAP certification, the only thing they were really worried about was E. coli.
Mhm.
They didn't really care about anything else, which is surprising. And oddly enough, for us, for our GAP certification, I went to look up the water quality report, and that is one of the things they did not specifically say at the city level. So I had to email the city for a water quality report that detailed the fact that there was 0 E. coli found, because they just left it off there because they didn't find any. And since it was 0, they didn't mention it. And the USDA lady was like, no, if it's 0, we have to confirm that it's 0.
Right. Yeah, I was
So-
surprised. This water testing tests for E. coli, and then I don't know, like
Yeah.
not organic, let's say. All the other thing is inorganic testing. So I don't know. I thought they would test. I was surprised. I was like, just E. coli, nothing else. Like there must be other things that make people sick as well.
Yeah.
But
And our city tests for all sorts of things. Like they test for all sorts of things, but unless they find something, they don't report it. So if the E. coli was 0, which is the requirement, they didn't report it.
I see.
But you would have to ask your like health department and see what they require for testing, because you might have to send it somewhere else or have them test for something else too.
Uh-huh.
But I know USDA requires the E. coli, and that's why they focus primarily on it, is 0 E.
Okay.
coli.
And then as far as appliances, that's really, so you don't have like an oven unless you're using an oven.
No, we don't use an oven, so we don't need it.
Or a dishwasher, that's not required either.
No,
It's not required. No, you can do completely 3-compartment sink for a commercial kitchen. They don't require a dishwasher.
Okay.
there's a lot of restaurants that don't have a dishwasher.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, if you're married, you got a dishwasher.
Oh. Kyle. Yeah, he's a really good dishwasher.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's definitely not the kids. Yeah. Although the one gets paid to do them here, so
You pay them, they're pretty good.
yeah. They're not very good volunteers.
That was a bad joke. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We have a sense of humor around here. Now, Lorena, she might kick your booty for that one when she watches this later.
Yeah.
All right. We got about 10 minutes tonight, guys. Any other questions?
I'm sure all the questions will come up after we hang up.
Yeah.
Always can put them in the community.
I will be like, why
Yeah.
didn't I see so that? And
So are you putting in a commercial kitchen for cooking and such?
Yeah, Karina, are you trying to get a commercial kitchen certified so you can do
I'm
other things,
thinking-
or?
thinking really long term, as I was saying, and I don't want to talk a lot about something that is only a dream right now, but I have a and all the downstairs finished. And so
Mhm.
I would like to finish it and have my grow room there. I would have a lot more space. And I am thinking about when and if I can do that, maybe have a commercial kitchen.
Okay.
And so, so I'm finding it's the same as asking about the piping for the dishwasher. It's like, well, as long as I'm like really early on the wishing and planning and hoping, it's good to know so that there's no decisions made that then something gets left out.
Yeah, and then you're having to fix something later to make it work.
Yes, and also because I'm doing everything organically. I mean, I'm not gonna do anything with loan. I also want to know what's the bare bone need, like
Yeah.
develop organically the bare bones and everything else that is fancy and convenient and great and nice to have. Not to plan on that, at least not at the beginning. So
Yeah. You can start with the basics, have things plumbed, maybe ready for it, but not necessarily having to get the equipment yet.
yeah, and I mean, and if it's a sink and cleanable surfaces, I mean that's great because it's not like you have to have a ton of equipment or like essentially you could have like a 3 compartment sink and maybe a stainless steel table. And yeah, as long as you have the water and the clean surface and the ceiling that's not popcorn, it sounds like it would be doable. But I'll have to do some research locally because there's so many regulations.
There's so much different between, from here to another.
And
That's the reason why, like when we did the state fair, there's so many. Hi, Carlos. When we did our state fair, that one year, everybody, no matter where they were from, had to do the class with the county health department because everywhere is different. So everybody had to go. Like, even though we already are in the county and we knew all the rules, we still had to go to the class. That's annoying. And you have to do it every year too.
Oh, that's pretty crazy. It's not like you're gonna forget. I mean,
I wouldn't think so, but just in case, I guess.
Did they charge you quite a bit for the class?
No, the class is part of the insane fee that you pay to be there. So
Yeah.
I know in my area there's a huge shortage of commercial kitchens. There's like catering businesses that rent spaces from restaurants and things like that. And there were articles already like 5 years ago of businesses that couldn't do well because they did not have access to commercial kitchens.
Yeah. Well, there's this explosion of bakeries lately, and they're all scrambling to get into commercial kitchens, especially because cottage food law was very prohibitive in some areas where you had to be in a commercial kitchen in order to sell beyond your home or to sell at farmers markets in some places. So everybody was clamoring to get into a shared space kitchen because obviously not everybody could afford or could build out a commercial kitchen for themselves. So like here, these girls, some of these bakeries are paying so much to rent these commercial kitchens. It's crazy how much the rent is for these things. I don't even know what she's at now for some of them.
It's like $150 a day.
Wow.
And there's days where there's like 4 other bakers there, and you're having to share the one oven.
Wow. It's I was, when you walk through the farmers market, that people buy a lot of carbohydrates.
Oh, yeah.
But then being there and observing it a little more closely, it's quite surprising the scale. Like it's everyone who sells bread or pasta, they have lines of people. And not only that, but when the person who's manning the stand steps away, I've seen customers come and stand in front of the stand and it's like, where's the person who is selling the pasta? And they stay there. They stay there for like 5-10 minutes waiting for this person to come back.
Mhm.
It's
That was
I don't
part of the reason that we started doing the popcorn, because there are so many baked goods and junk food and things that are just, it's a savory, it's a snack, and it's not exactly the most healthy option. So when we started doing the popcorn, it was just like a better alternative. So we have a lot of children that will come by and opt for popcorn instead of cookies, and that's good to see.
Mm.
It's a much healthier
Yeah, that's
option than some of the sugary treats that these kids are usually begging for at the farmer's market.
yeah.
The way they're not bouncing off the walls.
Yes. Yeah, we have a few of them that'll come every week and they'll get their popcorn. And last week, the one mom was like, "Do you want your cookie?" He's like, "No." She's like, "Oh, okay." Like, well, last week he didn't even really eat it. He just sits there and eats his popcorn. I'm like, yeah, it's probably a better option than that sugar cookie you keep giving him every week.
Yeah. No, I see people with pastries and buying pasta, and it's surprising.
Yeah. The pasta lady does good around ours too.
Well,
Yeah.
now, depending on the kind of pasta, it depends on the health of it too.
Yeah. No, she just uses the same basic flours and sorghum. She's an Italian lady, so it's
Hmm.
pasta.
Then it's got to be good if she's Italian.
Yeah.
Eh,
Crazy Italian lady.
she's crazy.
Oh, but definitely
Yeah,
there
Mike
it's
was
nice to
the
be able to
chef
offer.
of the family, wasn't he?
Huh?
Mike was the chef of the family, wasn't he?
He's an amazing cook. I just got to get him home long enough to do it.
Yeah,
But I mean, in the restaurant, he was a chef, correct?
Oh, he was everything.
I've done everything in restaurants. But yeah, chef is one of them.
So that really gives you a different perspective from the rest of us. When you go to sell at a restaurant, you've been there.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
Yes, I've been them. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I've been the gatekeeper many times.
Yep.
My job was to gatekeep for him usually.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, "How did that person get past you?" Yeah. So I know that the gatekeepers exist because I was one of them.
I see. Who else tries to reach a chef besides us, microgreen growers?
Distributors,
Distributors all the time, produce
mushroom
companies,
guys.
mushroom guys.
No, there's nothing wrong with mushroom guys now. Hey,
No, no.
POS systems like PosiTrack systems, things like that.
Credit card processors.
Credit card processors.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
And they would go talk to the chef, like you would think that is more
Well,
kind of
A
front
lot
of
of
the
times the chef's the one in charge. Even if he's not the business owner, a lot of times the chef will be the one making decisions. Chef
Yeah.
slash manager, kind of thing.
Executive chef. They
Right.
dictate what happens in that kitchen. So if they don't like how the tickets are printing, they'll get a different POS system.
Ah, yeah, because
So
also
they're in charge of the entire kitchen. So a lot of times if a POS system isn't working well and they think that POS system works better, the chef will make that decision because the owner wants to make sure they're happy.
Mhm. And the distributors are not always the same. Like there's a huge competition of distributors.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ah, wow.
I mean, here alone we have 4 major distributors. 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That have warehouses right within 30 minutes.
I see.
And they're always competing for more business and they'll send their reps out and try to get them to switch. And
The biggest ones you'll see is produce vendors. Like them ones really come into the restaurants a lot.
yeah.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
see.
produce distribution is a big one.
Mhm. And all those people also go through like we do, and like the back door.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
They all do. I see.
The smart ones do.
Uh-huh.
The not so smart ones get gate kept by me.
That's funny.
And I say, thanks for stopping by. Let me take your information for him. Hey, this guy came by again. Yeah. So it's best to get past the gatekeepers and just be comfortable. It's a kitchen nonetheless, and everybody's just trying to do their job and be respectful of their time. But going straight to the kitchen is the most effective way because you're not going to run into as many people in the way.
Yeah. Well, and you'll be able to talk to the person and show the product, right? Because you drop it off. I remember the first restaurant I went to with samples. I took like 5 different samples and made an appointment, met with the chef the next day or 2 days later, brought all the samples, and we sat down at our table. He tasted them all. I was there for like half an hour. And then at the very end, when I'm getting ready to leave, he says, "Oh, by the way, today's my last day."
Oh no.
And
Oh,
then
by the way, yeah.
yeah, by the way, today's my last day. And so, I said, "Oh, I was very nice and you're going and okay, would you mind sharing these microgreens with the incoming chef?" And then I met the incoming chef later and he never saw the microgreens. So I was like,
That's why he was
"What?"
so nice and in such a great mood, though. He was leaving.
Yeah. But I'm like, why did he have me sit down and show him everything for half an hour if he knew it was such a waste of time?
Maybe, do you know where he went? What
Oh,
new,
yeah,
did he go to another one?
no, he was going to Florida. There was like from
Smart
Colorado.
guy.
Yeah.
it was like, from Colorado to Florida, no chance I could sell him micros.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Yeah, if he was staying local, you could like be able to sell still or know where he was going to the next restaurant. But yeah,
Yeah, yeah, no, that's why I asked, but no, he was going out of state, so it was
Ugh,
completely different. But I
just
was like,
wasted.
what did we just do for an hour? It's like, I mean, it was very pleasant and nice, but I was like, I was trying to sell something.
Yeah, you were
Uh,
excited to sell something.
and then later the other chef had not even he didn't even know that I had dropped. It wasn't even like, oh, I knew some
He
got
ate
dropped.
all the microgreens and left.
See, I
Yeah, it
would have brought an
wasn't.
order in and been like, "Hey,
The new guy, yeah, he already
hey,
ordered
you
it
guys
for
ordered
you.
this?"
No, it wasn't like, oh, I knew there were some microgreens, but I never got to taste them. It's like, oh no, there was no information that anybody ever went there and dropped off anything. So it's like, okay.
Oh,
All right. It is 8:04. Time is up. If you guys got any questions or anything else, you can always put in the community. If you need something to direct message me, obviously you can direct message us as well. With the message thing up there, I believe all of you are available. They're on here. Yep. To be at the marketing meeting tomorrow at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time with Jessica. I might be lingering in the background, but she's the one that runs that. And then we have the podcast that will be on Thursday at 6 p.m. on YouTube. So you guys can jump on there and ask questions too if you need to as well.
Question, Mike.
Yep.
The microgreens for profit on now that's just basically going over what we're going over now, correct?
the microgreens for profit group.
Yeah.
That's like the basic version. They don't get it. They don't get like one-on-ones and they don't get like the Q&A like we're doing here. This is only for the microgreens business coaching.
Okay, because
They
I
don't
know
get
I
marketing
went
or
into
any of
that
that.
one
Yeah.
meeting.
What's
And
that?
I know I went into that one meeting that night, and it sounded like you were telling us the same thing that we learned here.
Well,
Oh,
the Q&A, yeah, would be kind of the same, you do, but they only get a Q&A every once in a while, not all the time, so you don't get weekly or anything like that.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
I have a quick question about that too, and a little bit about the postings. And I know that you mentioned once, like there were some wins to share, and you said, please make sure to put them there. So when we post or like or watch a video, that kind of increases the traffic on the page, and it's cool. So what type of postings do you want us to share in each group? Like what level of information would it be?
If you're in the microgreens for profit, it's the basic starting out, kind of thing. That's where, you're interested in microgreens. Obviously, you guys all have access to it too as well because you're in this main group, so you get access to that. But so that one is, basically starting out, people are trying to get going. People who want more involvement, more detailed, like, Brett, who wants to really grow this. He's kind of went straight into going on this on the yearly and took advantage of that great deal that we had. So this is going to give you more attention, more detailed. If you private message me, I'll get back to you within the day. If you're in the microgreens for profit only, it might be longer depending on how busy we are and everything like that. You get more full attention here. So more detailed stuff for the microgreens for business coaching. Obviously, that's what we're doing here. Microgreens for profit is people who are just kind of starting and dabbling, I would say.
Mm-hmm. So when we post something, you would prefer that we kind of keep in along those lines that you just described?
Yeah,
So your more detailed questions, anything that's going to require like a really detailed answer for what you're growing specifically, usually just stick with like the microgreens business coaching, just because that's going to be on the more of the business side. But like wins and things like that, definitely throw them in the microgreens for profit to help encourage these newer growers.
Okay. So is the microgreens for profit a free group?
No, it costs.
You guys get it for free just because it's, kind of included with you guys.
Right now it's $9 a month. It will be going up at some point. I just don't know when, but right now it's $9 a month. So.
Okay, because I don't know, somewhere I saw it's at public. That's why I was confused.
It's public, so people can search for it. Versus the microgreens business coaching's private, so they can't see any of this stuff. Everything's locked down, so if you go and you're not in that group, you could see what's in there, but you can't open anything. You could read all the comments and all that stuff that are there. You could read the community, but you can't comment on it. You can't do anything. You can't go and look at the comments. You can just read the main post.
So you can see like if I post something, they will see my post, but they wouldn't see what everyone else commented.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I believe they can see the post for sure. And it just encourages people and gets them, hey, there's a lot going on in that group and I want to be in that,
Yeah, and get all the support. Yeah.
Yep.
Last question about the leaderboards.
Yep.
I am seeing my leaderboard 7th day. Next to me, it says plus 124. What does that mean?
That's how many likes you got on a post. Say, so all the leaderboard part is all them numbers like 124, like you posted something or you commented something over the last
Someone
7 days.
Liked it, yeah.
Some 124 different likes on that basically.
Those are the likes from other people to my posts.
Yes.
Okay.
So that encourages you to post quality stuff, not just hi.
Okay. And the one that says leaderboard of all time does not have the plus, but it means the same.
It's all the likes, but it's over the whole time you've been in the group.
Okay. But the fact that one has a plus and the other one doesn't have a plus is they both mean the same.
That's the increase for the week or that time frame.
For that time. That's how much you got for that time frame that's increased.
Yeah, okay. I'm looking. I'm not gonna get my flame in time for tomorrow.
Almost.
We're gonna have a different contest coming up next month. So
okay. Yeah, I missed that day. And so but
I will announce the winners tomorrow. And then I will announce the new contest as well.
Okay.
For August.
It's nice to have these things. Sometimes it's hard to, it's easy to be busy with planting and everything else, and it's hard sometimes to connect with a computer, but then it's a good group and there's so much good information there. It's really good.
It's a great way to kind of encourage people to connect with each other and really kind of interact.
We want you guys to be a community, you know, interact with each other, share stuff, share wins, share things you learned, you know. It's not just one person doing it, you know, you guys are the community. So I want you guys to connect and help each other out and hopefully connect, you know, through messages on stuff. And like I know Lorena and Tracy talk all the time. They became good friends. I hope that happens with all of you.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and there's original ideas that each person has, right? Like I saw how Lorena was selling things through text. So she had a certain amount of product and she wanted to sell it out. And I was like, wow, that's really creative. Really creative what she did. So it's
Yeah, and I wouldn't have thought of that. So see, that's great that other people do.
yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Awesome. All right. Well, I better feed you dinner at some point, love.
Yep.
Thank
That
you.
would be good. All right. If you guys got anything, obviously community, message me. And if not, we will see you guys tomorrow for the marketing.
All right.
Have a great
Bye,
night.
guys.
Bless you all. Take care and have a good
Good
week.
Thank you
You
so
too.
much.
night, all.
See you guys.
Good night, Brett.
Good night.